Thank you, Abed. I was watching Suki's TED Talk this morning just because I like to have it kind of as a reminder every so often. And something that he said, and I'm going to butcher this quote, but it keeps resonating with me. He said something along the lines of, this was a professional passion that came from a personal necessity. And that's exactly how I feel too. Now, he's talked about how he grew up on the wrong side of the tracks and he had an interesting upbringing. I have the exact opposite experience. I grew up in an upper middle class household in Oregon. My parents are both educators, they're nurturers. Oh my gosh, I'm thumping right now. And I had a really great upbringing. I was born with a higher level of intellect, and I skipped a grade and succeeded in ballet. I was on a professional track to be a ballerina. And then something changed around age 13. And it has been said that, children are hormonal at age 13. But something else was different in the fact that all of a sudden I didn't care about anything. And I would spend hours of my day crying in bed, and all of a sudden I didn't care about school, and I quit ballet. And this was a surprising trend in my life because, again, I had a great childhood, but it actually continued for many years. And so to cope with this feeling of depression, I had other activities that I would do instead, coping mechanisms. And I won't go into the details of those, but let's just say that if you were a parent and your 13-year-old was doing some of these activities, you should be concerned. But I also never wanted to ask for help because other people in my family had been labeled as having mental illnesses. In fact, one of my family members was in and out of a hospital for the entire life that I knew him. At one point, I saw him catatonic and drooling because of so many medications. And another family member committed suicide. And so, as a young person, I never wanted to say, I need mental health help, because I didn't want to be put into a box and labeled and stigmatized. And I know that a lot of people feel the same way. And I'm an American, and we have a different healthcare system than you guys have up here. But that's how a lot of people live, is that they're scared of what's actually happening in their body. And so this continued, these patterns of bad behavior as coping mechanisms for feelings of depression for over 10 years, 15 years. Had to drop out of school because I couldn't get out of bed to go to class. And at one point, I was about 19, and after staying on the couch for a couple weeks of not going to work or even showering often, I decided enough is enough. And I called the hospital, a mental health hospital, and I said, I'm coming in. And this was the best thing I've ever done for myself. I walked in the door, and they kept me there for a week. And it was also very revealing because I realized I wasn't the craziest person in the room, so that was positive. But they put me on a medication. That was the first time I'd ever done that. And it was also the first time that I'd ever had a counselor. And so I was able to talk about things openly and without a stigma attached. And this was when I was living in California, trying to go to school and failing. And after that experience in the hospital, I moved back to Oregon and moved back in with my parents, who again were very nurturing people, and decided that I was going to go on a path of health. And in that path of health, I visited various doctors, because that's what we're told to do. And so at one point, I was actually on 4 different medications, an antidepressant, an antipsychotic, a seizure medication, although I've never had a seizure before, and a very strong sleeping pill. So imagine if you were on 4 medications and you were drinking, and maybe in taking other substances too as coping mechanisms. Now, I'm sure that we've all had a night where we had a couple drinks and we woke up the next day and we're like, I don't remember anything, right? Imagine if you'd done that for 10 years and had 4 extra medications on top of that. So I actually have years of my life that I don't remember. They're just gone from my memory. And so after doing this for so long and it's still not even relieving the symptoms, I started doing some research into the science of the brain and thought to myself, there has to be something better out there. And so I started looking into foods and what we can do in our life to be able to live better lives beyond pharmaceuticals. And so I was looking into what are the sorts of plants that you can intake. What is it that you're putting on your body that's maybe affecting your brain health? What are you cleaning your products with? All these different chemicals that we're exposed to that maybe could have an impact on our brain. And it was around this time that I saw a video of Apollo talking about brain health and nutrition. And I just realized this this could be the thing. In fact, I was thinking about creating my own company around this, but they already did it. So when I saw that this is what they were doing, I knew that I had to come on board. And although I know that we're not allowed to make health claims, I can tell you that this has changed my life. I'm not on any medications anymore. And the product, thank you. The Mastermind product and the Genesis have physiologically changed my brain, and I feel great. But the more important product for me, I think, is our educational platform, because it's like having a counselor in your phone. And so all these different people are giving you different ideas of ways to live your life and ways to think about things that are different. In January, I actually took a bunch of my Facebook friends, and we had an online Facebook group, and we did the full 30-day mind mastery together. And I probably filled in 3 journals during that time. Thank you. That 30-day mind mastery was more effective than 10 different counselors that I've seen over my life. Yeah, because I had to, you watch the video, and they're always great videos, and then you listen to an audio module, and then you have homework. And the homework is really the important part. You have to set goals and think about things and think about your thought patterns and then analyze those thought patterns again. And of all of the people that did this 30-day mind mastery together, they all had amazing things to say at the end about what they had seen change in their life and how their relationships have now changed and how the ways that they think about themselves have all changed. So again, I think that our products are great, but the mind mastery program is even better. And so that's why I'm so excited to be a part of this company and why I just continue to want to share this with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.